Hello, my name is Steve Herman. Welcome to my YouTube channel on mediumship training and mediumship education. Mediumship development is what this YouTube channel is about. And if that is what you're interested in, whether you're a professional, whether you're very experienced, or maybe you're just completely curious or even very novice in terms of your unfoldment, definitely smack that subscribe button. I teach a lot of mediumship courses. I'm the author of 2 books, Mediumship Mastery, The Ultimate Guide, The Mechanics of Receiving Spirit Communication, and my new book, Mediumship Mastery 2, Advanced Techniques That Work, also available on Amazon. And when it comes to mediumship training, how many of you are familiar with the history of mediumship? Because if we go back historically, if we go back down through the ages, it doesn't matter what part of the world you live in. It doesn't matter what culture. There have always been individuals who functioned as intermediaries between the physical world and the spirit dimension. And of course, the modern era of what we find with spirit communication, in which the higher philosophy of spiritualism, the modern spiritualist or spiritist movement, when did it originate? March 31st, 1848 is considered the advent of the modern spiritualist movement, with the Fox sisters in Hydesville, New York, which is outside of Rochester. They were rapping mediums, they were physical mediums, and the spirits would produce phenomena through them. And that phenomena spread across the country. The interest, the investigation that took place on a wide scale. And the Boston medium Maria Hayden, she brought mediumship to the UK in 1852. And of course, it spread all over Europe, it spread all over the world. But really, if we go back, in all indigenous cultures, there are people who work as mediums. And if you want to be a good medium, it's really important to have people who are more experienced, who can mentor you. People who are more experienced, who can inspire you, who you can learn from. Now, you can learn really good things from people more experienced than you. You can also pick up horrible habits, too. But I think it's really a wise, intelligent thing, if you're a student medium, to study with as many different mediums as possible. It doesn't mean you shouldn't stick with 1 or 2 teachers primarily, but it's really good to be exposed to as many different approaches to mediumship as possible. Mediumship is spread all over the world. I work internationally. I've worked in many countries around the globe. And I've seen all sorts of mediums, all different styles, all different structures, all sorts of phases of mediumship. And I've really been impressed so often with what I've seen. It's not one right way of doing it. There's not one right way of training with mediumship. You know, it's a very individualistic process, unfoldment. And it really needs to be tailored to the individual. One size doesn't suit all, does it? So I really think it's very important for mediums. You know, you want to have good teachers. You want to have experienced people. And I remember when I was very young, still very young, but getting into this decades ago. And there were a lot of these old mediums. You know, they were in their 80s and 90s, even older in some cases. And if I got a chance, I would pick them apart. I would connect with them. I would ask them questions. I would learn as much as possible. I would listen to their accounts of experiences they'd had within their own life, but in their own philosophy in terms of about development. How did they develop? How did they go about doing it? What did they learn? What types of tips or suggestions could they give me? And you talk to different people. You learn different things. Often I'll be doing, sessions for different people who are involved in mediumship. Maybe they work as mediums. And oftentimes it's those old timers who come through, really worked with the mediumship if we go back, because the spiritualist movement is really very scientific in the approach to mediumship development. In the beginning, there weren't teachers, but the spirit world started instructing people. They began to give input to interested parties here in this physical world on how to approach development. for the various phases of spirit communication. It's all very scientific, and it's all dependent upon the conditions. And how they work with each individual is unique. But when we think about the pioneers, the mediums who really were involved, we go back into the 1800s, we go back into the 20th century, so many amazing mediums. How many of you know about Arthur Ford? He was clairaudient. He was also a trance medium. And his main control is named Fletcher. He was famous, Arthur Ford. An amazing medium. Amazing, outstanding in terms of evidence. How many of you know about Harry Malasey? And he worked tirelessly to spread the truth of the Spirit throughout the United States. You know, we would see the names of the spirit loved ones written backwards. He was dyslexic. So they showed him the names backwards over the person's head. Can you imagine that? He was passionate about his mediumship. How many of you know about George Cutter? He was also an incredible medium. He would write first, middle, and last name of the spirit on a blackboard, when he was doing platform work. There are some incredible mediums, and oftentimes, if they're available, you can read the biography or the autobiography written by a medium, and you'll learn a lot that way. But so many of the best mediums didn't write anything. So many anecdotes about their experiences, about their unfoldment that have been lost. And I'll tell you this, the work that you're doing as a medium in terms of development, if you're going about it the right way, you're going to attract individuals in the spirit world who also worked as mediums. If there's mediums and people who are senior to you, they're experienced, learn from those people. I mean, it's good to have a really good one or two teachers who you can really connect with and you resonate with. You're on the same wavelength. But learn from other people too. Pick them apart. Take the criticism constructively that they give you, even if your ego doesn't like it. Doesn't mean you have to work that way or listen to it, but you'll learn from it. You can learn something from everyone, even people who do it a little bit backward, or maybe it's not what it could be. There's different ways of working, and we see that different people have different fortes, different propensities, different gifts spiritually that God gives us. So I want to encourage you with your development. Study other mediums. I've got thousands of books in my collection, thousands of books in my library. Many of them are these early biographies or autobiographies written by some of the great mediums who did so much. Some of them were physical mediums, producing the manifestations, the phenomena through them. Others were mental, or a combination of both. But in all these cases, you can learn from it, and you can apply it to the work that you're doing. And not only that, you can gain great inspiration from those in the spirit world who worked with this. And just reading about mediums, hearing about great mediums of the past, it will inspire you, it will motivate you to selflessly go forward and do the work as a vehicle for the higher spirits to express themselves through. So if you've got any comments, please add them below. Any questions, please subscribe, smack that subscribe button below. Keep in touch. And thank you so much for watching my video, and God bless you.